Hello and good morning. Today we have Renee Best with us. She is a licensed therapist in Raleigh, North Carolina, that will be speaking at our retreat in Black Mountain in Ridgecrest, coming up very soon, April 7th. I cannot
Mhm.
believe. So we're excited she's here. Before I introduce her today, I wanted to also announce today is I'm wearing green. It's St. Patrick's Day. So I thought it'd be fun to do something unique down below in the comments. If you could drop if you wore green or your kids wore green today. If you didn't, I'm sending you a virtual pinch. So go ahead and drop down in the comments below if you are wearing green today. Um, and we hope all y'all are doing well. And we're excited to get into this interview. So I'm going to go ahead and let Renee introduce herself.
Sure. Thank you, Lauren. And you'll have to pinch me because I did not wear green today. Maybe there's green in my earring. I don't know. But again, my name is Renee Best. I'm a licensed clinical mental health counselor as well as a licensed clinical addiction specialist associate. I'm licensed in North Carolina as well as in Florida. I have a private practice in Raleigh, as well as I have a location in Asheville. And I'm excited to be here and excited to kind of talk about my breakout session I'll be doing at the retreat this year.
Yes, I'm excited to dive further into that. And we're excited that you'll be part of the retreat. You were there last year.
Yes, I
This
was.
year, you'll be here again, but you'll be speaking on a different topic. So, those who heard you speak last year will hear something very different from you this year. So,
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. So, it's all new content. And I mentioned in the comment above that your session is titled Giving Yourself Grace on a Journey to the Anew You. And
Yes.
so I'm excited to talk a little bit about that and what that looks like.
Yeah. So I opened up a consulting company called Anew Coaching and Consulting. And that idea of a new kind of spawned from the work I've been doing with women over the last couple of years. Last year, I talked a lot about kids because I'm certified in TFCBT, which is trauma focused therapy. I just
Mhm.
recently became certified in EMDR, which is another trauma therapy modality. As you can see, trauma is my focus. But I work a lot with women. And the women that I've had the pleasure of working with over the few years, I've seen, um, things with them where they're focusing on their kids, they're focusing on rebuilding their lives, they're focused on, getting jobs, paying bills, and they're forgetting who they are, forgetting their dreams, forgetting their hopes, forgetting, just taking care of themselves. And, as a mother, as, a friend, as a sister, all those roles that we play, we always put ourselves last. So that
Yeah.
idea of giving yourself grace, meaning, not being so hard on yourself. It's okay that, um, things didn't work out the way you thought. You can still be successful. You can still do, follow your dreams. You can still do the things that you've always wanted to do. It's just delayed right now. So that's what that idea of giving yourself grace on that journey. I talk a lot about fear, right? Fear of success, fear of failure, fear of judgment.
Yeah.
Those are the main three that, I find in many women because we are not sure what's next for us. We're not sure how to move forward past
Yeah.
trauma, past what we've experienced, and really stepping back and just allowing ourselves to remember who we are, right? I think I put in my quote about God saying that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And that's so true because I wouldn't even be on this journey if God didn't say, Renee, I need you to be a therapist. And I'm like, what? I'm fine what I'm doing, but that fear of, am I doing the right thing? Am I following what he wants me to do? Because when we do that, there's a sense of peace that we get. So it's
Mhm.
allowing ourselves to embrace that idea of fear because it's an emotion that we all have. And it's okay to have it. It's not okay to let fear stop us, though. So we have to remember those things as we start this journey to a new you. And that's what I want to help the ladies that I'll be speaking with at the retreat in April.
I love that. And I see so many people comment too. That was just so good. And I was like, oh, everything you're saying, I was so resonating with. Yeah,
Mhm.
so true. We're so hard on ourselves. And it's so
Yes.
easy when you get out, you'll be like, I'm so behind. Like I'm just starting over in my career or starting a new career or
Right.
starting over with nothing. And it's just like, oh, I don't know how, but it's just like, no, it all does flow together. You just got to give yourself some grace, and it's okay
Yes.
because your story's going to look different than somebody else who's maybe further ahead. And but what is further ahead? Why do we even have that word? Who defines what success is if you're
Yes.
doing what you're called to do and are passionate
Mhm.
about? I'm
Exactly.
excited to hear more about this because this is
Yeah.
a topic I feel like I need and every woman needs.
Yeah, it's a very important topic, and that tagline is one of my good friends, Susan, helped me with it. But that tagline is something so important because I tell my clients this all the time: give yourself some grace. In essence, don't be so hard on yourself. Like allow yourself to really just, be okay with where you are right now. Be okay with where you are because when we're focused on what's in the future, what didn't happen, what's going to happen, what if it doesn't happen, we're forgetting to be in the present moment. We're forgetting to be thankful for what God has given us right now today because we're
Yes.
not promised next week, we're not promised next month, but we are promised where we are right now today. So really
Yeah.
focusing on that and using some of those strengths that you have to push, make it even bigger, actually let it come to life for yourself. It
Yeah.
always reminds me of my one of my favorite verses, Romans 8:28, all things work together for good for those who believe according to God. And that's so true. And that's something that I just say, casually say, but when you actually take a step back and think about it, it really is true. All things do work out. No matter when
Mhm.
we're having difficult times, we're going through things, we feel like we're hopeless. But if we actually stop, and that's what sometimes we don't take the time to do is stop because we're trying to make things happen, we're trying to make sure things stay together. But if we actually take back everything we've gone through has worked out for our good, right? Maybe not
It,
on our timing, maybe not the way we wanted it to, but when we look back, we're like, you know what? That no was probably what I needed, or that roadblock I had was probably what I needed because God had something better for me. And that's
yes,
why, yeah. So
I
that's
love
what's
that.
so important. Yeah.
Sorry, you keep going. I'm just like, yes, I'm just over here excited because I'm like, it's just like my own stuff in my life. I'm like, that's so true. Like looking back, I'm like thinking
Yeah.
about my own life. I started over on a career 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I had some experience in, but I was like, you know what? Like I look back, I'm like, I'm so grateful through all of this because it not been so hard. I don't think I would have pushed myself so hard
Right.
to learn the skills I needed to learn to start over. Otherwise, I'd be like, it's okay. I can
Yeah.
make it or not. When you're in that desperate situation, you realize this is sink or swim. You're going to learn
Exactly.
this and you're going to figure it out. It's so
Yeah.
sometimes that pressure is so good, even though it's hard because it pushes you to be where you need to be and like the cocoon, you're trapped in there, but it's that pressure that's going to bring you out to a beautiful butterfly. So don't be afraid of it. Like
Exactly.
work with it. So
Mhm.
I, yes, loving everything you're saying. It's just like, oh,
Yeah.
this is so good.
Yeah.
Um, my first question for you I have too is what is one of the biggest mental hangups for women starting on their journey to a new you?
That emotion of fear, that fear of success, fear of failure, fear of
Yeah.
judgment. That whole idea of I hear many women say that what if? What if it doesn't work out? And I always
Hmm.
come back with, but what if it does? What if it does go the way it's supposed to go? What if it does fall in line like it's supposed to, fall in place like it's supposed to? So that idea of changing that thought, because when you've experienced trauma in your life, you tend to always kind of go to that negative, right? That it's not going to happen or things are not going to work out because that's
Hmm.
what trauma does. It creates negative thoughts for you. And I'm saying to you, okay, fine. You know that, right? So let's change that. Let's look at what's the positive to that. Instead of saying, what if it doesn't work out? But what if it does? Because, like I just said before, all things work together for good. We know it has. Just
Hmm.
not, again, on your timing, not the way you may have thought it was going to, but eventually it works out the way it's supposed to. So, really, just allowing people to sit in that emotion of fear, understand what it means, but also not letting it stop you moving to that next piece or next part in your life or next point in your life.
Wow,
That's
that's
what,
so good. And that's so true with trauma, like, because you automatically are, I feel like, especially, I might ask another question here, is you're in PTSD mode, you're constantly looking for the next shoe to fall on you. So when
right.
you're walking into the unknown, it can be a lot harder for you to walk into the unknown than somebody else who doesn't have trauma in their background because you are
Right.
just hyper vigilant, hyper aware
Mhm.
of everything
Yeah,
that can fall on top of you and go wrong.
exactly. Yeah. And if you add, I mean, if you think about it, we've all experienced a trauma, right? We've all been in this pandemic for the last 2 years
Yes.
together, right? So this is something we've all experienced together. So we know what's happened, right? There's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of depression, a lot of, stuff going on in people's relationships. People are starting to take time to look at themselves and how they're navigating, and they're learning things about themselves, some things that they don't like, some things that they want to change. But at the root of that
Mhm.
all is really the way we think and the way we kind of, put these things on ourselves. And with women, we always have this thing that we have to be strong, right? We have to be strong for everybody. We have to take care of everybody. And I hate that word sometimes, because sometimes that word strength is equated to not showing emotions, just keep moving. And
Mhm.
being vulnerable and showing emotions is what I strive for with my clients. Like, I need you to understand what these feelings are. I need you to understand what it feels like in your body to feel this anxiety, to feel this depression, so that you can recognize it and you know that it's there. So,
Ye
being able to feel those feelings doesn't make you weak. It actually makes you strong. Being vulnerable is courageous. Being open, being transparent is courageous. Saying that you need help is okay, is a strength.
Mhm.
Seeking
Wow.
help is a strength.
Yes. And I kind of wonder too, like if I'm not sure, I'll ask you this question. As you do things and things do work out for the good, do the neural pathways in our brain reconnect as rewire as well so that we when we are in those situations, we start having those good neurons connecting to build
Yes.
upon.
Yes, that's why I've done the work with getting certified in EMDR, and I just got trained in brain spotting, because that's
Oh,
the whole preface of those.
yeah.
Yeah, brain spotting is amazing. I just finished a training for that, and the whole idea is you're really you're allowing yourself to understand what those emotions are. You're understanding where those feelings come in your body, because you're tapping into that emotional center of your brain. So you're really allowing yourself to feel these emotions that you may have hidden before. And that's why that's so important. In EMDR, what we're saying is, what are those negative thoughts? What do you think about yourself? I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. So EMDR is saying, okay, now we're going to tap. We're going to actually physically tap yourself, your body, to replace those negative thoughts with positive ones. So when you get triggered, the positive comes and not the negative. And that's why
Yes.
that's so important. Hmm.
I've seen a lot of that myself recently. I've done a lot of EMDR with my therapist and I've done brain spotting and it's been so great. I
Hmm.
don't know if it's all she's probably watching like what I've done some of it on my own, like the tapping to myself and like
Yes.
I've done a lot of therapy with her. So I
Mhm.
was able to say, "Hey, what's my negative cognition? I know how to find it. What's the
Yes.
positive belief? I know how to find it." And then every single time that memory came back, the only thing that hits me is the positive now.
Positive.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
oh, it
Yeah.
really works. I mean, it's worked
And it's
for me.
amazing to watch. Like, you saying it, it's like I've seen that with my clients. It's like, who would have thought just tapping, like getting to that somatic piece and tapping into that part of your brain? Who would have thought? Because no one really thinks about how connected our emotions are to what we feel in our body. Like, when I get
Yes.
stressed out, my neck, I can barely move my neck, right? Or when I'm nervous, I get those butterflies in your stomach. But we don't really pay much attention to it. And this is what it allows you to do, like really focus on those feelings you're feeling in your body and understanding what's causing it. What are you thinking? Because not
Mhm.
many people realize, they're like, oh, I'm not thinking anything. Yeah, you really are thinking something. You're thinking something, you're feeling something. That's why your body's reacting to it.
Wow, that's really good. Thank you
Mhm.
for sharing that. How does understanding how God defines us as women assist us in our healing journey after domestic abuse?
It kind of goes back to that idea of those negative thoughts, right? You know,
Mhm.
that remembering in those most difficult times who we are. And so I thought, when I saw that question, I was like, hmm. And it reminded me of Proverbs 31, 16 through
Mhm.
17. It says, she considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hands, she plants a vineyard. She dresses herself with strength and makes her arms strong. In essence, is whatever we set our minds to, women, we will get it done no matter what. And I believe
Mhm.
that, because I've seen it. I've seen it in my therapy room. I've seen it when I was working in the shelter. Like, whatever we set our mind to, we can do it. And I'm a firm believer in therapy and Jesus, or
Yeah.
Jesus and therapy. I think they go hand in hand, because there are times in my sessions where we pray together, we sing songs together. But the root of it is really coming from getting back to knowing who you are, getting back to knowing what God has created, the talents that God has given you, and using those talents for your purpose. Because I feel like when we're not doing what our talents are and what our gifts are, we don't feel that sense of freedom, right? It
Mm-hmm.
took 40 some odd years to figure out this is what I want to be doing as a therapist. Like I had no idea. In my life, I never thought I would be doing this kind of work, but I feel a sense of peace and freedom because one, I get to talk about God. One, I get to, see women grow and even children. I work with kids, I work with men, I work with all, populations, but just watching the transformation happen is amazing to see. And
Mm-hmm.
for that to be my gift that God has given me, I'm just like, thank you, because I get to see that and be a part of that in a special kind of way. So
I
that's so important.
Yes, I love that. And God has a unique purpose for everybody, and everybody has
Mhm.
those built-in passions. And people think like, "Oh, I don't have that, or I don't have the education, or I don't have this." No, you
Right.
have everything. I mean, I have a Bible degree, so I mean, I'm not that far along in the education world, but like I felt a passion to write and a passion for communication,
Yeah.
and like oh, it's all good. I have a dog too. So I just want to encourage those watching today. God has something for you too. And so I'm excited for you to come to this retreat and get alone with God and discover what does he have for you? What did he create you
Yes.
to do? And follow that because there's so much fulfillment in that. And this is kind of
Mhm.
like a second chance in life. Almost sometimes I feel like
Yeah.
divorce. It is. I know it's hard and stressful too, but it's a second chance to start over and find out who you are and
Exactly.
who, like what God has called you to do.
Exactly. Exactly. That is it in a nutshell. Sorry about that. My dog loves
Oh,
animals.
that's okay. I love Amazon too. Gosh.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I have a dog too. I have to lock her sometimes, like, because she
Mhm.
loves to bark at me. Um, yeah, I lock her. Not in nobody thinks I'm doing animal abuse here. I mean, I lock her out my
I know
bedroom
exactly.
because she will go crazy and scratch at my door and bark at me and all types of stuff. But
Right.
what else would you like to share with us about your session at the retreat? What do you want your
Um,
audience to walk away with?
just who they are. Who am I? That's the question I want them to be able to answer by the end. And the interesting thing about this breakout session is it will not be like a lecture, right? I'm not going to stand up there. I'm not going to talk the whole time. It's going to be interactive. You're going to do some work. You're going to do some writing. You're going to do some activities. Like we're really going to focus on you, the
Mm-hmm.
woman, the person, what your gifts are, and then figure out what's next. How do I start implementing? Once I figured out who I am and what, my gifts are, how do I implement that into my daily life? How do I get on board and on track to make that come to life for myself? So that is what I want the participants to get out of it and to walk away from. Just a sense of peace about what's next for them on their journey.
Yes. I also want to say that there's still room too for you to come to this retreat. So for those who are watching, if you're watching this today and you're like, I haven't signed up for this retreat and this sounds so good, I need this session. Yes, you do. And there's still room to sign up. And not only that, as I've mentioned every single interview because I'm so excited about this. We have so many generous people that have such a heart for
Mm,
you coming out of domestic abuse and believe in you and want the best for you. That we overshot our goal and we did not raise 120 scholarships. We raised 127. So we
love
still have scholarships available for you. That means we have extra and you are worth it. So if you're watching this and you're like, I don't know if I can come or not, reach out to Call to Peace. We would love to talk with you about giving you a scholarship and helping you get there. I mean, you'll have to be able to get there, but helping you get there to attend the retreat, so you don't have any cost in that. And yes, we just want you to be part of it. And also, our registration ends Monday, March 21st at 11:59 p.m. And I'm saying that because I do not want you to think that do not jump on at 12 o'clock at night because it will be too late. So 11:59 p.m. on Monday, go ahead and sign up now because you don't want that sneak up on you last minute and then
Mhm.
you sadly miss a chance to come. And it's going to be an amazing weekend, amazing long weekend that is, of just recovery and just that time away where you just don't have to worry about anything as far as food will be provided. You'll be able to meet Renee, you'll be able to meet other speakers and just have a community there where you feel safe to be encouraged, and maybe even brainstorm with another sister there who's like, hey, can you help me think of some things that maybe I'm good at and maybe I can start over in, and just kind of get feedback from other people that and
Yeah.
things. So I'm excited for Renee to come and talk about this topic. I am very much looking forward to this myself.
Good. I'm excited as well.
Yes, and I will drop a link into the comments to your Raleigh office, so that if anybody wants to connect with you before the retreat,
Sounds good.
you're do so, or check out her office and see what she has available. And I will also drop a link into the comments to sign up for the retreat. So, and if you need a scholarship, you just need to reach out and apply for that online. So it's a really simple process. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we close?
No, just thank you for having me. And ladies, I look forward to whoever signs up, us having a good time together, learning about ourselves together, and figuring out what's next on this lovely journey to a new you.
Yes, me too. Well, thank you so much again for your time and for joining us today. And we will see
Thank you,
you.
Lauren.
I believe this is getting like
I know, in a few weeks,
closer
right?
and closer. It's like 2 weeks away now. So
Something like that, yeah. Yeah.
crazy. Well, I'll be here for you know it. So go ahead and sign up. Don't
Yes.
miss it. All right.
Yes.
Well, everybody have a good afternoon, and
Thank you.
we'll see y'all soon. Thanks.
Bye.